Hello, welcome to episode 2 of the Jaw Dropping Podcast. I'm here with John Boy.
Hello there.
And Will.
Hello, gents. How are we?
Yeah, very good.
Why did you sound so disheartened when you said Will's name then? You went,
Don't worry,
Will.
mate.
Again.
Most people feel that disheartened when they say my name, so it's not a problem.
Oh, come on now. That's not true.
Right, so we had a good podcast last week, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. We did. I've got a fun stat. I just went on YouTube and saw that we had 85 views on our podcast from last week.
I do just want to say to those 85 people, I can't believe 85 people actually wanted to listen to it. I just want to say, for everyone that listened to it, thank you, and hopefully we'll have another giggle this week.
John, do you reckon you were 15 or 20 of those? Probably, I think between the three.
Honestly, I listened to it once on YouTube because the uncut version is better. That y'all can't listen to because there are some effing and blinding in it.
Do you want to hear me being honest for a moment?
Yes.
Oh.
I've not actually listened to it on YouTube yet.
See?
Well,
I only listened to it once.
Yeah, but we were there, we experienced it, so... Right,
Trust me, once you experience it once, you do not need to experience it again.
Yeah, you don't want the uncut version. Yeah.
No, I don't think that between the three of us we know 85 people, to be completely honest. So.
No, which is
impressed.
Yeah. Right, let's start with our first news story. So the first news story I found, which made me giggle, this is from HuffPost, and it was dog found behind wheel after high-speed chase in Washington State.
Hang on a minute. So you're telling me there was a high-speed chase and this dog jumped into the arch of this wheel, got mangled up, turned into butter.
The steering wheel,
not the car wheel.
Oh, I thought you were about. Oh no! I thought you meant
the steering wheel.
Oh, I genuinely thought you meant behind the car wheel. I was going to say, how did it survive that? Jesus Christ! Just drilling in the alloys. I was going to say he must have been dizzy or very dead. Okay, so that makes more sense. So can you repeat that with so I can get it from that perspective instead of a dead dog perspective? Please.
Dog found behind wheel after high-speed chase in Washington State.
I'm going to need some stat. I mean, how far was this chase? How far did the dog drive?
Okay, I'll read you a little bit about it. So, a Washington State man who led police on a high-speed chase on Sunday, so this is Sunday just gone, may have not actually been driving. Officers said they found the suspect's pet pit bull behind the wheel after his 1996 Buick crashed. So that was... So
the dog stole the car?
Well, the unidentified 51-year-old male suspect from Lakeland, Washington, is now facing several charges, including DUI, reckless driving, hit and run, and felony eluding. The man allegedly struck two vehicles before he fled onto Interstate 5, wherever that is, I don't really know. And one of the troopers, or policemen, or tracers, or whatever they were, reported seeing the pit bull in the driver's seat with the owner handling the steering wheel from the passenger seat.
Oh my God, that is quality. Imagine seeing that.
Yeah, the car reportedly hit speeds of 109 miles per hour during the chase, and at one point drove on a popular trail for pedestrians and cyclists.
That guy must have been so fucking high.
That's what I was going to say.
His car and just be like, do you know what? I'm gonna get my dog to drive. How fucking sick is this gonna be?
But imagine the people driving past high. They'd be like, was that a dog? No way. How many views on TikTok did that get?
So they managed to eventually end the pursuit by throwing down spike
dog
strips. Dog treats. And then came the shocker. Okay, so the patrol officer
there's already been a bit of a shock.
Comes up to the car that's crashed, right? The dog is sat in the driving seat with the bloke sat in the passenger seat. And when the guy asks him to get out the car, he says, I was just trying to teach my dog how to drive.
Wow. Well, hang on. Let me stop you there because I've heard you can't teach an old dog new tricks. So how old was this dog?
I don't know. It doesn't even say if the dog survived or not. It doesn't say any relevance about the dog. So the dog, I assumed, because they didn't mention that it had died, that it managed to crash in a safe way, so they were both all right.
I've just got to go back just a second. John, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, right?
Can't teach an old dog
I don't think you can teach any dog to drive.
Have you not seen the video on YouTube?
I have seen that video.
Thank you.
I have seen that video. However, I don't imagine you can teach a dog to drive a Buick LeSabre at 106 mile an hour down a freeway.
Well, it hasn't even got power steering. Power steering, has it? Do you know what I mean? How would it turn?
Who was touching the acceleration pedal?
That's what I was trying to work out. If he sat in the passenger seat, was the dog doing the brakes and the accelerator, and he was steering? Or
could it have cruise control? What year was it? Did you say 1990 or something?
1996 the car is. And this happened on Sunday.
Can't have had cruise control then. It happened this Sunday?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Did it happen in Florida, did you say?
Washington, I believe.
Washington, Jesus, that's where the president is and everything. Although the president is Donald Trump. It is. Washington's where the president is, isn't it?
Yeah, Washington State, Washington City. They're two different places. Did you say it was state or city?
Washington State.
Which is...
Hang on, so you're telling me Washington,
is that where the president is?
No,
that is definitely where it is.
Washington, D.C. is the city, and Washington State is the state.
But I don't think Washington, D.C. is in Washington State, is it?
Will, are you having an absolute blonde moment?
I don't know.
Possibly, absolutely. I mean, it's fun that it's me once and not you, John, but let's have a look.
Educate your damn self, man. Have a little butchers.
Yeah, it's definitely Washington, District of Columbia, USA.
Okay. My bad. Sorry, guys, we all make mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just sipping on that Thatcher's Cloudy Limon.
Brilliant. So that was the first news story that made me chuckle, and I thought you guys would enjoy it.
I did enjoy it, but I enjoyed the fact more that let's go back. How did this guy get sentenced?
Well, yeah, he's being charged with DUI, reckless driving, hit and run, and felony eluding. So I'm assuming he's going to get a few years. And not animal cruelty. I don't know. It depends whether it comes up in the court case. Oh, that hasn't been reported on yet, but we'll have to see if we can follow up on that because it only happened on Sunday, and that was the news report. So it depends how quickly. I see what you're saying. Lovely. Okay, so we'll go on to unbelievable fact number 1. Okay, John, this might blow your mind, and Will, you might already know about this. There are bacteria in clouds. Of course there is, because that's where water resonates, isn't it? There's where there's water, there's life. That's why there is life on Mars, people. Okay. I don't even know how to I don't even know how to approach to that. Deconstruct that statement. I'll tell you exactly how it happens. Yeah. So you know the sea. Yeah. The sun beams down on the sea all day. Yeah. It gets hot. The particles from the sea rise up. And what's that known as, John? Evaporation. Yeah. It evaporates into the sky. It gets to a certain limit, and then it all like bundles together. And then when it gets too heavy, it falls back down. But like I said, it has bacteria in it because obviously it's come from the sea. There's bacteria in the sea. We've all seen them. Fish. It goes up. Fish are bacteria. And then in the sky, well, they eat algae, and algae is a fungus bacteria, isn't it? And then they poo that out, and then the seagulls in the sky, they infect it because there's bacteria on their wings that they're flying through, and then it rains. There you go. There we are, John explaining how raining works. I'm lost. So that's why there's bacteria in the sky. I have to ask, John, how closely related do you think fish and bacteria are? Well, neither of them have legs, so they're pretty close. And they both need light. What about the fish at the bottom of the ocean, John? They don't need light. They do. They make it themselves. And you know that's in that one with the little light bulb on its head. Yeah, but that's not so it harnesses. Yes, that harnesses it from
that algae that has
bioluminescence.
Yes, they eat that luminescence, and then the light bulb goes up.
It's like a battery. They have to eat enough just to charge.
They have to eat enough cells of bacteria, and it powers their head bulb.
They eat luminescence.
It wouldn't be the weirdest thing to happen.
You're probably not too far away from
how it occurred. Yeah,
it's exactly how it occurs.
Yeah, so they discovered that there would be bacteria in clouds because in order for it to be able to rain, water needs to collect. So it's all very well having water vapor. What?
I was right.
Yeah, but it needs to have something to collect on. So usually dust particles. The water collects on the dust particles, and therefore, when it gets heavy enough, it then falls. However, some bacteria, mostly soil bacteria, bioprecipitation, I think it's known as, in order to help them spread across the globe, because they're so small and light, they evaporate with the gas that comes up from evaporation to go into the sky. They then collect the water around themselves. I don't think they do that consciously. I think that kind of just happens because they're like the same size as a dust particle. And then it rains, and obviously they're thousands and thousands and thousands of miles away from where they actually came from.
You know when they say they do this involuntary, are you on about little dust animals, or what are you on about?
No, I'm on about
dust animals.
Bacteria, John.
That's what I'm saying. So I was right. Oh, so the bacteria... No, it's fine. I'm with you.
I don't think you were wrong, John. I
just
don't think you were aware that you were right.
Yes. I was 100% right, though. I can't believe... I thought I was chatting... Wow, that's science, isn't it? I was making that up. So there you go. That's science for you.
Yeah, and the way they tested it was... they tested it on, like, snow at high-altitude locations in, like, North America, Europe, and Antarctica. What?
Don't eat yellow snow. There's loads of bacteria in there.
And ammonia, yeah. And what they did is they heated it up and then froze it again to find out what the freezing temperature was of the water. The higher the freezing temperature...
0.
No, as in, like, the lower the freezing temperature for the water, the more...
All freezing temperature of water is 0.
No, if it's got particles in it, it's not. It's going to be slightly lower.
We're talking like fractionally lower.
Yeah. So that's
we're not talking like -6 degrees, but it might be like minus, I don't know, 1.1 or minus 0.01 or something like that.
Yes, yeah. So they found that when they then heated the same snow from the same sample to a high level to kill any bacteria and things like that, they can then freeze it, and they found a difference, which meant that there was definitely bacteria and stuff within the water sample.
Very interesting, Alex. I'm really pleased that John was listening to what I'm saying. The problem with your physical comedy, John, is that this is a podcast which people can only listen.
No, that was
in the background while you're picking around, and we're all chuckling to ourselves. The listeners have no idea what you're doing.
Sorry, I was just counting how many brews I'd cracked open.
How many? You've drank at least 2 since we started.
I'm now on my 3rd. Look, these 2 are empty.
I think it probably would help the listener to understand the level of your alcoholism, probably, John. I think that would go some way in explaining the reason behind many of your thoughts, perhaps.
Okay, I've got another news story for you before we go into John's theory time, which is a new
Can we just call it the theory of everything? That is my section. Is the theory of everything.
The theory of everything is your section. Okay,
fine.
Yeah.
Should we make a jingle?
Yeah.
Yes.
John, do you want to sing a little theory of everything jingle for us?
Yeah, I'll do it. This is the theory of everything. There you go.
Brilliant. I'll cut that out, and every time we go into your section, that's going to play. Okay, so news story number 2, before we go into John's theory of everything, is rusty knife removed from man's skull after 26 years.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
God, how did he scratch his
lost
head
that for a while?
That really hurts, that. What's going on there?
26 years, rusty knife.
26 years.
Jesus, that reminds me of that weird cartoon, Salad Fingers.
Rusty spoon.
Rusty spoons.
Oh,
but how do you lose a knife in your head for 27 years? Because I've just thought of another news story. Will, if you want to butt in here before I go down a tangent, feel free.
How much of a knife? Clearly, it's not going to be a 6-inch blade. Was it like just the tip or something? 4-inch blade within his skull.
Yeah. So the 4-inch blade has been there since he was violently mugged in 1994.
Oh my god!
In 2012, the patient, 76, named only as Mr. Joinji, because this is where is it? China. It's in China. Sought medical attention after he began suffering from chronic headache. But the knife was kept in his head because it was believed to pose a threat to his life if they had removed it.
See, you're ruining the story. If you just left it, they'd left it in there for 27 years for no reason, I'd have gone down a whole different tangent. But I was going to say, because how do you forget that you've been mugged and that you got stabbed in the head? And how do you forget that you've got a knife in your head? That was my question.
Yeah, well, obviously when he got mugged, he sought medical help. But because this is in, like...
Exactly.
Rural China. They didn't have the facilities to be able to remove it.
So did the bloke basically just forget that he had a knife in his head?
That's what
I don't know about you, but if I was stabbed and the doctor said, right, we're going to have to leave this in your head because you might not survive if we remove it.
Yeah.
I would have thought for the next 26 years, I'd probably still remember that I've got a knife in my head.
Yeah, of course you would.
Do you know what I mean? Every time you go on holiday for a start, you walk through the fucking security gate. Beep! Have you got any knives, sir?
Yes.
Well, yes, mate. But I can't declare it because you'll kill me. That's my excuse now. That's it. If I want to shank someone on a plane, I just cut a little hole in my head, put me little slithering in. That's it. Let's go. Come on. But no, what I was going to say, that reminded me of another ridiculous news story that I saw.
Yeah.
There was this, let's call it land whale, that had lost.
Land whale?
Yeah, it was in the sun, so I remember it well. And I'll even pull up the news story. She lost her. That was it. She found her cat. So I say a land whale. I'm on about a really fat woman.
Oh right. I was like, what the hell is a land whale? Are you on about like a cow or something?
An obese woman with them ones that you see on TV that just looks like the Pokemon Ditto. It's just got a face, and it just goes outwards.
A blob.
Yeah. It's just a blob. It's a melted welly.
She's blobular.
So she found her cat after 14 years, alongside with one remote and 2 mobile phones. Anybody want to fucking guess where she found it?
Were they in her rolls?
She found her dead cat after 14 years in her fucking fat roll.
Oh, that's horrendous.
Which how does that happen?
Yes.
So anyway, yes, this woman lost a cat for like 14 years in a fat roll. How do you not smell that?
Well,
she's changing flavours.
She probably had a natural odour that was not too dissimilar to dead cat.
Jesus. Yes. Anyway, yeah.
So he started having like really bad neurological symptoms from having this knife in his head for 26 years, as you can imagine.
No shit.
He was losing vision in his right eye, really bad headaches, and he'd lost. He had almost full paralysis in his left arm and leg.
So did they remove the knife and he was then better? Or...
Yes, yeah, they removed the knife. It took 2 operations. I'm not sure how you remove a knife in 2 operations. I'm pretty sure it's just one simple...
You take out the handle first and then the blade.
No, it was just
the blade. I presume
the
handle's not going to be in his head. He's got a fucking handle poking up from the top of his lid.
Well, I don't know. I've seen the Teletubbies and one looks like he's got a fucking knife in it.
Yeah, the handle wasn't on it. It was just the blade and the little bit that sticks into the handle.
That's a shame because he could have got better mobile service if he'd connected that handle, if it was metal, to his phone.
If it's pressing against his optic nerve, do you think that would have been wise?
I don't know why.
Yeah, man gets stabbed in the head in rural China, and his first thought is, better phone signal.
Yeah. Could have used that when I was getting mugged.
Yeah, so that was that one. There's a lot of other gubbins around it that it had like rusted over the 26 years. So for some reason he had a high iron count in his blood because the blade was rusting on the inside because his body was trying to remove it. Yeah, so it was actually using it as a source of iron for his blood, which is mad.
Better than a bowl of Cocoa Pops.
Yeah. Now, if it had been plastic, then it would have just been left there. But the fact that his body was actually using it to like, oh, but there's this thing here, we'll just extract the iron from it.
Like it.
Yeah. So I'm assuming the two-part operation was one to get it out and two to kind of clean everything up, maybe.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Marvellous. That's a marvellous story.
Yeah.
Well, Billy's got a little bone to pick for you.
Okay.
Go at him, Billy.
Washington, D.C. isn't in Washington State.
Oh, is it not?
No, it's in Maryland.
Oh, well.
and which is like, if you imagine that a map of America is sort of like this, and I suppose you've got New York up here.
Yeah.
So Washington State is literally the highest top left there.
Yeah.
And Washington, D.C. is about here.
Oh.
Pretty much polar opposite side of America.
Oh, I thought Washington, D.C. was a city in Washington.
No, I don't think so, I'm afraid.
I have just remembered about the cow thing last week, and I've just typed it in how many people think they are a cow.
Oh, this is the boanthropy thing.
I found an even better statistic.
Okay.
1 in 8 young people have never seen a cow.
Yeah.
What do you mean, yes?
Well, people who live in cities.
Yeah, if you've born and you've grown up in London, you're probably not going to ever see a cow.
They will know what a cow is and will have seen pictures, but they would never have seen an actual
actual God,
cow.
That's never even crossed my mind. So people in London have never actually seen a cow with their own eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I first started at university, like within the first couple of weeks, we did like a little trip up the coast in South Wales. And there was a bloke on the coach who saw a sheep for the first time. He'd grown up in central London. He'd gone straight to Swansea. He'd never really left London. He'd gone to
he went straight to Swansea. He'd never seen a sheep, and he went straight to Swansea and saw a sheep.
It was quite astonishing, this bloke going, what the fuck is that fluffy thing? Like, it's a fucking sheep, you knob.
I'd be like, oh my God.
You should have told him it's a woolly rhino.
He was taking a fucking biology degree.
Brilliant. Right, we'll go to John's theory time then. We've already done the
theory of everything. Something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think something. Right, so my theory of everything. So it's not so much a theory. It's what I discovered today that I need to discuss with the pair of you.
Okay.
Two things. So for those of you that don't know, I am currently working in Sainsbury's. I am furloughed from my other job, but it allows me to work somewhere else. So I'm working in Sainsbury's,
Yeah.
I have to do online shopping orders. I see some. I know what the nation is buying during this time of panic. And let me tell you, it's not just shit roll.
It's not essential.
It's alcohol. It's custard creams. It's chocolate bourbons. They are pretty essential. And then you get the odd toff that's buying like Stilton. Right, but this is what blew my mind today. Did you know, and I thought it was a quail egg, there are blue chicken eggs.
Yeah.
Blue chicken eggs. Don't yes me like you knew that.
Yeah.
How?
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know that, but as in a chicken egg the size of a chicken egg.
No, it's an actual chicken egg. It's an actual chicken egg that's blue.
No, I understand that, but I mean it's the size of a normal chicken egg. And is it light blue? Is it royal blue?
It's like a sky blue. It's like a light sky blue. It's tasted different, Sainsbury's. And I lost my marbles because what are they feeding that chicken to make its eggs blue compared to these other chickens? Are they just dyeing crushed blueberries? And how do they make the egg? It's going back to the chicken and the egg. How does the egg even form? Do you know what I mean? Are they just eating grit? And in their urinal systems, are they just like pieced together? Like, you know, when you teleport something across the room.
Shit out the egg. The chickens don't. It's not. They don't come out their fucking arseholes.
What? What do you mean?
It's not the same fucking system. They don't shit out the egg. It's their reproductive system.
Yeah, it'd be like your I was going to say Uranus. Then it'd be like your uterus. It'd be like a chicken uterus.
Yeah,
effective. Yeah.
But what makes the egg? Because that's pretty solid to make, isn't
it? Well, it's I think they're made up of calcium, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so. I think
calcium. So it's like what makes bones. Anyway, yes, but what makes these taste the difference by Sainsbury's chicken eggs blue is what I want to know the answer to for next week.
I can already tell you. I've just Googled it. The blue colour is created by euscyanin, which is applied early in the laying process. The blue pigment goes right through the shell, and like the brown pigment. So blue eggs are blue inside and out.
Whoa! What? Pardon? The blue fucking yolks?
No. No, as in the inside.
Jesus Christ, I thought Jesus, don't. I'm fragile. Come on.
No, the inside of the shell. Because, like if you have a normal chicken egg, the outside's brown and the inside is white, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whereas this one, they have...
But you said it's got brown... You said brown pigment then, so they...
Yeah, no, unlike the brown pigment. So instead of the brown pigment, they have this blue colour, which is created by something called euscyanin.
Well, that's bollocks, because I'll tell you what they're doing. I'll carry on, Will.
Is that a man sort of introduced thing, or is that?
Yeah, so these eggs taste no better.
No, it's just what
they use
colouring to make the egg.
It's a food colouring, isn't it? That's what they're doing. They're giving this.
There are 3 breeds that lay blue eggs. You've got I'm not even going to try and pronounce those. The blue colour is created by euscyanin, which is something that I assume they make themselves.
Well, cyan is the bluish colour in printers.
Yeah. So
I presume that it's something to do with that type of
It's
dye.
food colouring for fucking chickens is what it is. Either that, anyway. So these eggs don't actually taste no better, but they are £1.50 more expensive. Another thing, skip past the chicken thing. Next one, blew my mind. There is a tinned milk called evaporated milk, yes?
Yeah.
Yes. So if it's evaporated, how the fuck is it liquid in a tin? Because, like I was saying earlier, when you evaporate something and it goes up into the clouds, how have they got that into a tin? Is my question.
With a big net, John. With a big plastic bag.
That's what I mean. So how are they collecting it? Are they evaporating it?
No. They're not collecting the stuff that's evaporated off. They're collecting what's left after they've evaporated the water out of it.
Surely that would just be like cheese.
Yeah, it's like condensed milk is really, really sweet because there's no water in it.
And it's basically like I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I've ever seen the contents of an evaporated milk can.
Nor have I. I've only seen it.
Is it liquid or is it a powder?
No, that's what I thought. I thought it'd be like a powder. I picked it up today. It's a liquid.
Well, yeah, but I presume it's a much thicker liquid because they will have evaporated the majority of the water away from it.
Yeah.
So that it is what's the difference between evaporated milk and condensed milk?
This is what I'm saying. There is no difference. It's all milk, and it all comes from the cow.
Condensed just means that there's less water in it, so there's more.
But surely evaporated milk, you take the water out, and therefore there's less water in it.
Yeah, I don't know whether there's an actual difference between the two, and they just decided to name them the same thing.
Yeah. The more
you're back with me, John. You've got me there. I don't honestly know how a supermarket or a company produces condensed / evaporated milk.
It's not condensed milk. It's evaporated milk.
Evaporated milk.
And finally,
there is a difference.
Okay.
So evaporated milk is unsweetened, always unsweetened, and condensed milk is sweetened, and that's the difference.
Okay, fine.
So one's got extra sugar in it and one hasn't.
So they are basically exactly the same things,
apart
from one's got added sugar.
Yeah.
So one's not evaporated because it's still in a tin in liquid form, and the other one is just sweetened milk. So it should be just unsweetened milk and sweetened milk.
No, that's absolutely not true. They both go through exactly the same process of the evaporation.
So why is the other one not called evaporated unsweetened milk and one's not called evaporated?
Well, that's something you're going to have to write a letter about, mate. That's not something to have a debate with.
I'll tell you what, I'll fucking ring up Jay Sainsbury's and ask him, shall I?
Yeah, go on, do it.
And finally, The big one. The one that ticked all the boxes this week. The most ridiculous headline I spotted.
Yeah.
Listen to this. You know it's going to be a good start when I say the first word. Flat Earthers.
Yeah.
Flat Earthers fear 2 meter social distancing could push some people over the edge.
Is that a play on words, or are they actually scared that if they all separate by 2 meters, there's so many people that the people on the edge will fall off?
I'm not going to lie, it's clickbait.
Oh,
but
right.
I clicked on it.
Can I ask where it came from? What website it came from?
It came from that all famous thedailieshunt.com. The Dailies.
I'm fairly sure that does satire. I'm fairly sure that's a website that purely does hilarious stories that are deliberately designed to catch people out, which is evidently what's happened here.
But once you read the article, that it's actually about how social distancing will affect people's mental health.
Is it the Daily Smash?
No, it's I've got the website here. It's called thedailieshunt.com. But it's meant to be a clickbait thing, because you click on it and it goes into like people's mental health and how it can affect the social distancing.
Do you mean the Daily Shunt? Not the Daily's Hunt.
Yeah, that was very cool. Well, that was
the Daily Shunt, not the Daily's Hunt.
See, people need to write things better. Okay, so anyway, I've read the article.
I can read things better.
Yeah, we did establish last week that you can't
this is only half of it. Anyway, I was reading the article, and there's this guy called. You read all through the article, and anyway, it gets to this bit where it says, Percival, Zephyr heroes, the founder of Citizens of Kalesh, a group of people who believe they are the descendants of an alien race responsible for the civilization of ancient Sumer not spelled Summer, spelled Sumer, so it might be Sumer, joined Derek Fish in demanding a closer look at how the coronavirus pandemic might have a knock-on psychological effect for many people. Anyway, for anyone who is listening, please go to this website to check out what this guy is wearing, because this is the leader of that group.
Oh my God.
So,
John, mate, I really hate to tell you.
What's the matter? Let me just.
This is just a satire website. I'll read you some of the other headlines on this website. Right, nurse pays mortgage with applause and banging pans with a spoon. Nigel Farage reclassified as virus.
Look. This wasn't meant to be a debunking story. Just look at that afro. I can only describe it, people, as the fourth musketeer fell over, landed in some tinfoil, and you know after you've had a ham and cheese sandwich in foil and you roll it up and you've got that big lump of foil left.
Yeah.
Stuck that on his head.
Yeah. Just put a face on that, and that's what he looks like.
And it's absolutely not photoshopped at all in any way possible, is it?
Definitely not.
I don't believe so. I think that's yes. So although not the theory of everything, I have theories of everything.
I would recommend anybody listening to go and visit the dailyshunt.com website, because it's very, very funny, actually. It's some good shit on there.
Shout out to the Daily Shunt.
Yeah, we're sponsored by the Daily Shunt.
Fleshlight.
Oh.
We haven't got a sponsor yet. What's up?
Right, so John, I just wanted to probe you for something on theory time. So, what about the existence of aliens, and have they been to Earth? That's what I want to know from you, John. Have you got a theory about aliens?
Have I got a theory about aliens? I personally think aliens exist, because going back to sort of what I said last week of how you throw up a car part into a tornado trillion times.
Yeah.
And obviously we've come out as the perfect specimen of life.
Wow.
You throw that car part up there enough, you're going to end up with a fucking VW Beetle every now and again. Do you know what I mean? The utter shit. So there's some mutations in cars. You might throw up parts and get a motorbike. That is an offspring of life. So we went one way. They went another. We came out as these flesh-colored people, and aliens exist because they are green and have big heads, and they might have the telekinesis to talk to each other through their heads.
You're literally going quite like Hollywood.
Yeah.
You're going very E.T. You're going very E.T.
No, but seriously, there's aliens out there, but they might not look like us. We might not even recognise it as life. You might look at it and it might look like a, I don't know, a Nintendo 64 controller, but it might be life.
John has just clearly listed the first thing that he saw in front of him in his games room.
Yeah. Yeah, but the point is that it would have to be organic.
Yeah, organic. Hang on, but how organic are we talking? Because there's free range.
No. I mean, organic as in, I
know what you're saying about
life.
Like the flesh.
Yeah.
The flesh.
Yeah, because they might not necessarily be carbon-based either, we are.
They may not.
Oh, what do you mean by carbon-based? Have we got carbon?
Yes, John.
I mean, we do have carbon, John. Yes, absolutely, we do.
So all life on Earth is built via carbon.
What's the difference between carbon and non-carbon life?
Well, I think silicon is like one of the closest ones.
Yeah.
So you could have silicon people.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then is it methane-based life as well from from planets that are?
I'm not gonna lie, I have absolutely no idea. However, I think carbon is the most logical one because
is that why we leave carbon footprints?
No.
No, because we're made from carbon.
No.
So if we were made from silicon, would it be silicon footprints, or would it be methane footprint?
I'm sorry, the carbon footprint isn't literally a footprint that's behind.
Yeah,
it's to do with the amount of carbon that they produce in their daily life.
I was going to say, because everyone's like, how big's your carbon footprint? And I'm like, well, size 10, fam. Do you know what I mean? Don't look at my kicks if you don't believe me. Jesus.
Oh, dear. I suppose that every human also has a nitrate footprint, perhaps, or a
oxygen footprint, carbon dioxide.
Well, probably not because we take it, but perhaps an oxygen footprint. I suppose anything that is produced in
methane footprint.
Yeah, well, probably not so much. That's mainly cows.
But we shit and fart.
Yeah, but not as much as cows or rice.
See how it all comes back around. Didn't we say something about cows earlier?
Yeah.
See,
we did, but absolutely not related to this topic.
Swing and roundabouts.
Yeah.
Oh, carbon footprint. That was good, that, John. I'm big fan of that.
Okay, right. So the last unbelievable fact I have for you. So from the time that it was discovered to the time that it was denounced as a planet, Pluto didn't complete an entire orbit of the sun.
Can I just point out that Pluto is also now a planet again?
It's a dwarf planet.
It's a dwarf planet, which is a different category.
Yeah.
Well, it's space.
John, do you think Pluto deserves to be a planet?
Yeah, because I think if you don't let it be a planet after it was already announced and taught to people as a planet, and then they get asked about how many planets are there, they're going to say 9, and really there's only 6 or something. Or how many planets are there? 8? Or was there 9? How many planets are in that? Hang on, let me do it in order as well. So you got
here we go.
Mercury, Mars, Venus, Earth, Saturn, Jupiter, Uranus, Pluto. Yes.
No.
Not bad.
Well,
pretty close.
They're all of them. There's 9 in total, but not.
Was that in the right order?
No.
I can't even remember what to say it again, John. Go on.
It was Mercury, Mars, Venus, Earth.
No.
Okay, so Mercury, Earth.
No.
Mercury, Mars.
No.
Mercury, Venus.
There we go.
Yeah.
Mars.
No.
Shit. I was good at science as well. I got a B in it. Anyway, going back to my point. What were we talking about before we went off on that?
So you were saying how many planets are there at the moment? So
yes. So, yes, I believe Pluto should be a planet because I was taught like it was a planet, and to take it away from not being a planet now will not only cause me great distress, like it has, obviously, in trying to recall planets. Also, it's next to Uranus, which has a funny name.
It's not at all. It's next to Neptune, but that's fine.
I forgot Neptune!
I actually feel sorry for Pluto because there's always a runt of the litter, isn't there? There's always this little weak little bitch in every category. And Pluto is the weak little bitch in the planets category.
Yeah, and it's the only one with an elliptical orbit as well.
Sometimes you've got to give them a little bit of love, I think.
You know what I mean? And Disney made a character about it.
Yeah.
The dumb dog.
I don't know about dumb.
Hang on, Goofy and Pluto are not the same dog, are they?
No, they're not.
Damn it.
Hence them having different names.
Well, I don't know. It could have been Goofy Pluto or Pluto Goofy for short. Oh, lads.
Yeah, so can I...
Talking about Uranus and planets.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, you can tell I've had a trim upstairs.
Yeah.
I've also had a trim downstairs, front and back, yes. So,
how bad does it get in the back?
Oh, mate, you got to clean up the backs. You got to clean up the backs, and that's where your shit resides, player.
You've got to mow the arse grass, haven't you?
So anyway, I was doing it yesterday. I was mowing them. I need to get a Manscaped or something because, I don't know if you have it, and for the listeners, I apologise. Family, this is the end of the podcast for you. This is as far as we need to go. So there's like the bit where it's almost like you've been sewn together. You have that squiggly line going from your gooch, from the back of your balls, the gooch, and the arsehole.
Yeah,
and I was getting right in there with my walls. Shout out to Walls, you make good clippers, but this time you fucked up. And I was doing it, and obviously, like it goes to the skin, and I forgot about this little line, and it must be just over the guard cutting safety system, cut all along me gooch to the arsehole. Oh my god! So now, whenever I'm sat here, I'm just uncomfortable a little bit. Do you know what I mean? And that's going to take weeks to heal because it might get infected. Do you know what I mean?
You're going to have to make sure you wipe from front to back now, mate, because...
Exactly. Imagine wiping down on that. Hang on. Front to back.
We don't wipe front to back. That's only women.
Do women wipe front to back?
I don't know. Do women wipe differently to...
Wait, they don't wipe...
I presume everybody's wiping strategy is individual to themselves.
Yes.
However, I've never thought about whether different genders... I suppose...
No, if you think about it, right, when front to back doesn't mean like which way you wipe on your bumhole. It means front to back as in from the vagina round to the bumhole. They don't go back to front because that's just unhygienic. They'll go front to back.
I'm confused.
I need a woman's take on this.
Definitely any women listeners will know exactly what I'm on about.
Okay, for any women listeners, I hope we've cutted this bit out.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Out of those 85 listeners of the first week's podcast, how many do you reckon were women? 2, possibly? 3?
I had a few. Susie was one of them.
Laura, my missus.
Laura, and Jodie.
So 3.
My missus didn't listen to it.
Oh, fair enough.
But there's 85 views now.
She's a bit busy saving the world, isn't she? Really?
She's a little bit, yeah. Yeah, 85. Last time I had a gander. Let's have a goose, shall we?
Yeah.
I can't imagine that a person has listened to it since we started.
Oh, absolutely not. I can't believe we've got 85 on the fucker, to be honest.
Yeah, no, neither can I. That's actually it's the most viewed thing on my YouTube channel.
89.
No.
4 people, and you know it ain't been us because we've been doing
incredible. That is incredible.
When do you start getting money from YouTube?
You have to get 1,000 subscribers. That's
the challenge then, fellas.
Yeah, I've got 1 so far. I might just take the Call of Duty stuff down, although it is technically us, isn't it? Playing Call of Duty.
It is technically us.
It is technically us. I mean,
nobody's going to watch any of it, so it doesn't really make that much of a difference.
No.
I mean, it's not Bentar, but it'll be all right. Boom. Is that another podcast done?
I think that's the end. I did definitely enjoy this one. John's
There
theory
were
time.
some very, very, very laugh out loud moments then.
The carbon footprint.
Carbon footprint's going to kill me, that. Absolutely kill me.